As for those things herein alleged, I have good reason and multiple reliable sources which lead me to believe they are true. Hello, this is Dave from Net4 Truth USA, Whirlwind, Revolt. It is September 7th, 2019, and I'm going to tell you something that you'll not hear probably anywhere else. A lot of people are going to pick up on this, but I'm going to tell you as a matter of fact. The Jeffrey Epstein case is a multifaceted rabbit hole. And when they raided his apartment and his island out in the U.S. Virgin Islands and was still waiting on word from what's happening at his New Mexico ranch, we find that Jeffrey Epstein had a whole bunch of evidence in his Manhattan mansion consisting of photographs, VHS tapes, and Nitro Cellulose film of people in flagrante delicto with underage children. A whole slew of this type of evidence has not been mentioned by the mainstream media, of course, because the mainstream media is complicit and involved and so entwined into this thing that it's not even funny. But I'm here to tell you that the evidence has been seized and is awaiting disclosure. And this is why a few months ago, in fact, even before Epstein's so-called alleged suicide in a Manhattan correctional facility that has been in operation for almost 100 years and never had a suicide, he was over in Berlin talking to a group of people about deep fakes. And a deep fake is basically a manipulation of a video to show something that never happened. In fact, a good example of a very good deep fake is the movie Avatar, where if that was released 50 years ago, you would think that aliens really did exist. But there is a way to even detect by the same software that created it what a fake video is. Now, when these videos and these films and VHS tapes are introduced into evidence in court, the deep state's demented logic dictates to them that they should call them deep fakes. How do you deep fake a VHS tape from 20 years ago? How do you deep fake a nitrocellulose film from a Zabruta type 8mm film camera with today's technology and put that deep fake back onto an old crinkly nitrocellulose film with holes in it that's deteriorating with age? That's not going to work. It's not going to work. And I tell you right now, there is, and I've said this before, there is, and it was reported by a number of reliable sources, and I know this for a fact because I have a contact at One Police Plaza who shall remain nameless and who actually saw the aforementioned frazzle drip tape video and told me that yes, the tape exists, and we spoke to a number of anons on encrypted lines that have possession of this tape outside of U.S. jurisdiction, And for security purposes, I don't even know who these people are or where they are, and I wouldn't mention it even if I did. So we have it on multiple reliable sources that these videos and these depictions of these sordid acts by many different politicians and elites do exist, are in the possession of multiple law enforcement agencies, and they're trying to figure out how to proceed. The only reason that the Anons haven't dropped this on the internet is probably because it's illegal even to possess this thing, which is beyond child pornography. It is a snuff tape, a tape of someone being ritually murdered. We know for a fact that they're trying to cover this up. And 10,000 documents that were previously sealed in Jeffrey Epstein case, I believe it was in Florida, of a lawsuit that was settled out of court, are now unsealed and about to be released. And it has a bunch of names in there that people are petitioning the court not to release these documents because it would harm their reputation. Well, I say, tough shit. If you were involved with this guy, you need to be put out on Front Street, because the only reason you're involved with this chomo is because you're one of them. And over 100,000 sealed indictments still hang like the sword of Damocles. And all of us are waiting for the caca to impact the air movement device. Been waiting for years. And the common logic is, why haven't they arrested these people? Well, I guess it's like turning on lights in the kitchen when you have cockroaches in the house. They all go scrambling under the refrigerator and under the stove and under the kitchen cabinets, and you'll never get them all. The trick is to sneak up on them when they're all partying, and then unleash the can of raid, so to speak. And from what I understand, and from what I've been able to put together, the arrest of all of them simultaneously is why these sealed indictments have remained sealed for so long. And people in our government, primarily Democrats and some Republicans, are going to have to be arrested. And the only way to do that is to send in the military into Congress and just interrupt one of their sessions and say, you, and you coming with us. They'll be sent to Gitmo because the crimes they committed are the jurisdiction of the military and subject to military tribunals. Non-uniformed enemy combatants do not have civil rights like a citizen, even though they may be citizens. They don't have civil rights either under our Constitution or under the Geneva Convention too. You want a lawyer? Keep dreaming. We'll send you to Gitmo. And you can file your impeachment papers against Donald Trump with the aid of an inmate law clerk while you're sitting in a cell overlooking beautiful Guantanamo Bay. This is the state of affairs that we have in this country. In fact, CNN did a 7-hour, I mentioned it in a prior video, I'll leave a link in the description, did a 7-hour climate change marathon, which was, if you didn't know any better, it would probably pass for a skit on Saturday Night Live, where they're trying to ban airplanes, boats, planes, cars, combustion engines, fracking, and plastic straws. And, by the way, hamburgers, too. And the program was sponsored by companies that manufacture and sell these same products. So, how do you parody a parody? I don't know. But I understand, because I feel the same way, why a lot of people are frustrated that, hey, these guys committed treason. These guys tried to take down a sitting president. Where's the handcuffs? Where's the perp walks? Where's the firing squads? Because obviously, if the shoe was on the other foot, just imagine what would happen. Just imagine what would happen if Donald Trump was spying on Trader 44. A lot of people got President Obama. This man was never the president. Never the president. He wasn't qualified to be the president. He was put there by the deep state under election fraud and under an attempt to destroy this country. And thank God for Donald Trump. Thank God for the Patriots. And thank God for everybody on this medium and on all the other social media platforms that are exposing this crap and exposing it faster than they can take it down. And they already took my channels down 3 times already. This is number 4 for me, and probably going to be number 5, number 6 before it's all over. But I'm not going nowhere. Even though I'm not making any money doing this, I mean, could be making money doing woodworking videos and Jeep videos and stuff like that. But when I shuffle off this mortal coil, I want the Americans, the children, and the people who follow me to look back and just say, you know what? If it wasn't for the Patriots, if it wasn't for people who believed in the Constitution, who believed in the rule of law, and who had the balls to tell it like it was, I wouldn't be here. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my father seeing the handwriting on the wall and getting the hell out of Austria before the Germans took it over. In fact, he left at the same time that Erich von Trapp left from The Sound of Music, which was, by the way, a true story. We'd be singing Edelweiss and doing the Sieg Heil salute right now. And people who fought all of these bullshit wars, starting with World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, all of this, it's all bullshit. It's all to make money. And all of this stuff about climate change and overpopulation. Let me tell you something, folks. You could take all 7 billion people on this planet and put them in the state of Texas in their own apartment and have plenty of room. As for food, we throw away more food in this country that we could feed the planet. We throw it away. Big food chains, I'm not going to mention any names, but big food chains throw away perfectly good food that they could feed the homeless with. They throw it away because it's better to throw it away, I guess, than to give it away. Because they figure that if they give it away, those people who don't have the money to buy it to begin with wouldn't buy it. It just doesn't make any sense. One thing I do agree with the demon rats on is waste. Plastic is wasteful. Particularly, not plastic straws per se, but those little things you go into like a Wawa or a 7-Eleven and you pick it out of the thing and you stir your coffee with it for 2 seconds and you throw it away. Do you know how many of those things are polluting? I mean, granted, it's a piss in the ocean. It's a piss in the ocean, but it's an unnecessary piss in the ocean. The same thing with plastic bags. You go to a store and buy a gallon of milk. It's too heavy for one plastic bag. That bag will break. So they double it up and they make twice the waste that they would have had if they had one plastic bag that was strong enough to hold a damn gallon of milk. Recycling. I don't see anything being made out of this recycle stuff. They come around here every 2 weeks and they take the recycle. But what's being made out of all those plastic jugs and all that plastic shit we throw away? I don't know. I have no idea. Home Depot and Lowe's do sell plastic 2x4s that you can use to make a deck with. But they're 10 times more expensive than a wood one. What good is that? You know how somebody could make a shit ton of money? Just get a boat, a big barge, and put a chopper on it and go out into the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean and just scoop up all this plastic, chop it up, and melt it and just squeeze it together and make, instead of tar on the road, put some of this stuff in there. It would last forever. It's waterproof. I don't think it would crack as much as asphalt would, because the water would just run right over it. I mean, there's a lot of problems that we have to address. And plastic straws seem to be a little tinkle. But, you know what? It's totally unnecessary. All this shit that's unnecessary. We've had technology to multiply the gas mileage on a car for decades. For decades. But they haven't come out with it because it would kill their gasoline sales. We've had technology to replace the internal combustion engine 30 years ago. They don't want to do that because they're making too much money doing what they're doing. We had the technology to cure all these major diseases, cancer and all this stuff that's going on, for decades. But they're making too much money with this chemotherapy and with this AIDS research, AIDS and cancer. First of all, cancer was weaponized back in the 1960s. Read a book called Dr. Mary's Monkey. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it anywhere. Where the people who were involved in the JFK assassination, or allegedly involved with the JFK assassination, let's put it that way, were doing experiments to weaponize cancer. That's a fact. So there's multiple rabbit holes. It's started with JFK, which was the successful coup that was attempted back in 1933 and exposed in a book called A Plot to Seize the White House by Jules Archer. And you should read that book too, including my book, Land of Childhood's Fears. And those books only touch the surface of the surface of the surface of the scratch. That's the corruption that's permeated this country for a very long time. And the Federal Reserve Bank, been in operation now for 103 years, I believe, is neither federal nor has any reserves and has no business printing money. They whacked Gaddafi because Gaddafi was making the dinar and he wanted to buy oil from Saudi Arabia with gold instead of this stuff that we carry around in our pockets that we think is worth something. And they couldn't have that. So they took him out and robbed his gold. World Trade Center was a gold heist. There was more gold in the bottom of the World Trade Center than I saw my own two eyeballs, because I worked on Wall Street 15 years for IBM and 10 years across the river in Jersey. I saw with my own two eyeballs the cameras that watched the vaults in the bottom of the Trade Center. There was more gold in the bottom of that World Trade Center, including silver and diamonds and all type of shit, than there ever was in Fort Knox. They took the gold out. They collapsed the towers to cover it up. Building 7 was CIA, FBI, OSI, NSA, the whole 9 yards, and the Disaster Recovery Center for New York City was in Building 7. along with all the information of the 1980s bank debacle and the stock market crash, and the records of who shorted the airplanes, the airline stocks when the alleged planes hit the Twin Towers on 9/11. All of that, boom, straight down in its own footprint. Bullshit. Bullshit. And that's coming out too. Architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth just won a major case. All of that stuff is going to come out. We're going to see who the players are. We're going to see who the guilty people are. And hopefully we'll see a whole bunch of people put up against the wall and shot for treason, for sedition, and for crimes against humanity, which has been a long time coming. A long time coming. But deep fakes, that's the next thing. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say these videos and these films are fake. They generate them with computers, and that's not really Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin cutting the face off a 6-year-old girl and drinking her blood. That's not really her. It's a deep fake. Bullshit. Burn in hell, you sons of bitches. This is Dave from Net4 Truth USA, Whirlwind, Revolt. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe to our backup channels, Whirlwind Revolt, Inglorious Patriots, and Net4 Truth USA 2 Patriot channel. You can also find us at Net4 Truth USA on BitChute. We fly so close to the target, we're on our 4th fighter jet. We will be relentless truth seekers until the enemies of freedom are defeated. You can support this channel by using the links in the description, but for a $100 donation, I will personally send you a autographed hardcover special edition copy of Land of Childhood's Fears. Also, visit my bookstore at lulu.com/Net4TruthUSA. If you are viewing this video on BitChute, you can use the links in the description to support us, or simply click the green $ dot on our video to support this channel. Thank you. Links are in the description section.